music off, and now we can actually hear, can't we? So let's do that again, shall we? So today what we're going to be doing, guys, is we're going to be doing City Skylines, a new series, basic tutorial. I'm here with Kraken.
Hi.
It's my little boy, and we're going to be learning City Skylines today. And look at that view of the lovely sea there. So this is a city that we've been working on, that I've been working on, and you might have seen me working on this if you've been watching the stream. We've got the main grid that we started off, the first square, and this is the square that we started with, and then we expanded it to the south to pick up the oil. There was oil there, and then we expanded it to the west to pick up the farmland, the northwest to pick up more oil fields, and the north to build out and start building out a little lakeside town that's going to be running around the edge of this town there. We put in motorway connections like this one, roundabouts, underground pipes and sewage, which doesn't seem to be working properly, so we know we've got to fix that one. And generally we're just growing this city until it gets to a point where we're unlocking all the bits and bobs. So I'm going to start a new one today from scratch, but this time walk through and talk through all the reasonings behind what we're doing. And as you can see, just from looking down at how much money we've got 2 million, and we've got 27,000 people, population plus 46. Very happy, everybody, growing strong. So what we're doing here seems to be working all right. Let's take a look through and see what it is that we did to get to where we are now. Let's quit this, get to main menu, and we're going to start a new game right now. Seven years, look at that. City Skylines has been going for 7 years, and I've only known about it for a couple of years. I wish I'd known about it longer. Very cool game. I used to like SimCity a lot when I was growing up, when I was actually Kraken's age, it was 13. So we're going to figure out this new game right now. So we're going to set up a new game, and this is where you get to pick your new map. You get to name it, and here we're going to get a look at some basic things like the resources and the outside connections for the map and for your future city. You can also choose whether you want left-hand drive or right-hand drive. So depending on where you are in the world, you might be more comfortable with it on one side of the road or the other. Right now where we are, we drive on the left. We're going to keep it on left-hand drive. So, what do you think, Kraken? What we're going to do here?
Foggy Hills.
Foggy Hills. Okay, so let's take a look down to Foggy Hills. Okay, so Foggy Hills has got quite a bit of oil. That's oil, that is. I always thought it was a hole. Wasn't too sure about that. Anyway, that's the reflection of light on the oil puddle. So we've got quite a bit of oil, quite a bit of ore, and quite a bit of farming, quite a bit of forestry, and quite a bit of water as well. Not too much water though, but a nice big river running through. Looking for connectivity, we've got motorways, highways, train connections, ship connections because of the river, presumably, and also plane connections. Hi there, Reflex. Hope you're well. We're doing a little challenge, a little new feature today on the channel, and we've got your friend here, Kraken's Death. He's with me today. So, Foggy Hills is what we chose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're not even going to take a look at the others, but as you can see, when you pick others, you get different resources, different connections, all sorts of different challenges. Today we're going to be looking at quite a simple one. Lots of open space to build a city, lots of connectivity, lots of resources, and we're going to rename the city now. What we're going to call it. Why don't we ask Reflex? Reflex, what is it you'd like to call our city? What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know.
What about if we give it like a theme, like movies? Or what about our favourite games? What about Fallout?
Appalachia.
What do you think, Reflex? What do you think we should call the city? I'll tell you what we'll do. For now, we're going to call it name this city. I'm hoping that we can rename it later on. Well, just in case we can't, we'll call it something sensible, shall we? What did you call it?
Appalachian.
I
don't know how to spell it.
Oh, I don't know.
It's two T's.
I don't know how to spell that. What is it?
It's like
Appalachian. Appalachia.
there's IA at the end.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so
I'm not sure.
Actually, that
it's a
Mum was
area
coming in then as well.
It's in America.
It's an area in America. Is it even called the Appalachia? Is it called Appalachia?
That.
Appalachia. Who knows? Who knows? Well, I'll tell you what. We're waiting for Reflex to come back to us. He's not come back to us just yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to call this...
Mojave. The Fallout 3.
Oh, the Mojave.
Yeah.
Mojave. There you go. Mojave. Let's just call it that. Lovely. Good.
Sounds like Mojang.
Almost like Mojang. The Mojave. There we go. All right, Reflex. Well, you keep thinking, because I'll tell you what, there's going to be other things we're going to need to name. We're going to name areas of the city, and we're also going to name streets and schools and all sorts of different things. So keep thinking, and while you watch, we'll come up with some new ideas. Okay, so hello, let's start by building some roads. So the first thing to do is to establish where the city's going to come in. It makes sense when you're building something like this.
That's good, right in the middle, I think.
To carry on where the road comes in, look, right in the middle. Because you need that outside connectivity, because people need to come in from the outside to populate your city. So the first thing you've got to do is build some roads around these two roads here. Now, it says about zoning. Zoning means, as you can see from the bar down in the bottom, zoning means, are we going to make the areas around the roads residential, commercial or industrial? But we'll come across those as we open them up. The need for those is shown by these bar graphs. So very good for if you're learning maths. The temperature there is a nice balmy 79 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm not sure, so we do Celsius. I'm sure that's not too cold, it's nice and warm. And up here is our Twitter feed, our chirper feed, as they call it in this game, because obviously they can't use Twitter. Maybe as we're in a time now where Elon Musk is buying Twitter, we may get different options. Now, some of the other things that you might see around the screen is you might see things like this, which is something that I've installed as an additional to what's called the vanilla game without any modifications. This is a mod for traffic, and there's other sorts of mods that you'll see about, but we're going to try to stay as close to the vanilla, as close to the one that you get as possible. So, we're going to build a road. Now, Johnny, the first thing that we're going to do is, I think we're going to just build straight across the middle, just to give people the way in and then straight out of it. And what we'll do, first of all, is just expand a little bit into the city. Now, what we've got to think about is, when people first come into the city, what impression do we want to give them? So when we come into our city, for example, there's all sorts of different features. Depending on the city that you live in, there'll be different things that you'll recognise when you come into your city.
What about a bunch of windmill, maybe?
Bunch of windmills? Yeah, we can do that in a little while. And what we're going to do here is we're going to have an avenue of... We're going to leave it open because we're not sure what we're going to put there yet. So there could be windmills or there could be something else. And then what we're going to do is we'll just come off of here in these two directions, just to give us a little bit more options on what we're going to do. I like to check out the resources when I'm allowed to. It's not letting me do it just now. But what I'd like to do at some point is check out the resources and see where exactly everything is. Now it gives you a little bit of a clue because of the colour. See this yellow colour here? This is normally good fertile farmland. The green stuff, especially when it's around trees, is for forestry. So the industries that we can choose are actually laid out. And this looks like oil because it's a bit of a darker colour, black. So oil, farmland, forestry. So really what we want to try to do is put our city somewhere where the people will live that's not going to interfere with the industries too much. So there's a little area here. There's all of this area in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to build it down from this one. And we're going to just build a nice long road and another long road. And one of the things that works really well that doesn't happen in the UK too much is gridding. And they do it in America quite a lot, but this game's designed around gridding. So as you can see, when I'm using the tool to draw roads, there's lots of grid options. So you can get curvy with your roads, and you can build curved roads like this. But today we're just going to concentrate on getting to the first milestone, which is over here. And the first milestone is to get 440 people, and unlocks a couple of bits like a school, a kids' school, elementary school, kindergarten, a medical clinic, and a landfill site for our rubbish. And it's also going to unlock the option to tax our citizens, and also we can get some loans if we need to expand our city. So the first thing we need to do now we've built the roads and we've had a little think about what we're going to do on the entrance to our city. I'll tell you what we need to do, which we might have forgotten, is to connect these two. Make it straight again. And there you go. And the reason we need that to happen is because people can get in, but they can't. But they need to get out. So what we could do is we can actually get rid of this now, like that. So people can get in. And they'll come down there, and then they'll populate these areas in. We'll show you how to do that now. I'll bring it up. Okay, I'm live streaming, Ray. Wow. Sometimes you can't tell people, can you? Right. There we go. And
I think we should put the middle bit as shops.
that was Kraken's sister, in case you're wondering, who's come down to borrow her charger because all of our iPhone chargers have all gone missing, as usual. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to make the residential areas in these 3 squares here. And what you do, Johnny, is you beep boop beep, is you fill in the shops close by to where people live. Because people don't want to walk too far to the shops, do they?
Yeah, you could place it right in the middle.
Shops in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
What a great idea. Let's try it. So, even though we've got no need for it, because the game tells us what we need here. So what it's saying is, at the minute, the game's saying we desperately need loads of houses. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll unpause it. And then when the recommendations of putting, when it recommends that we put in some more low density commercial, that is exactly what we're going to do. Now what we're going to do over this side of the map is we're going to extend this out. We're going to use a dirt road. There we go, a dirt road, because it's very cheap and we can always upgrade it later. We're going to come across here and we're going to put a road that goes out to our industrial areas. Now we need water for our citizens. So let's pause it just a sec, just to grab some water. Now, here's a tip for you with water, especially when you're using a river as your only water source. When the water comes in, it follows this path, the path that the arrows are using. The bigger the arrow, the stronger the water. So as you can see, just over here, the water doesn't flow very well. But that's not too, we're not worried about that too much, because what we're going to do, we're going to put our water pump there. But we also, and unfortunately we're just going to use a water drain pipe, need to get rid of the water. Now if we put the drain where the water, where the sewage and all of the bad water is going to come out above the water pump, we're going to pump pollution into our drinking water. and that's going to hurt all of our citizens. So what we must do is we must put our water as close to the edge of the map as we can, or at least as far away from the stream of water, downstream, away from. There we go. Now this is going to cost quite a bit of money just to link these two up because it's so far away. But what we'll do is we'll do a big long line all the way across. This is going to take a big chunk of our money. Oh, we felt that. That's a lot of money. But what this is doing is this is setting out a method called the grid method for our water as well. Now we're only going to send this out now as much as we need because we can extend it later. But what we do is we use the edge of this to figure out where the next one's going to go so that we can get them to touch. See that? Do the same here. A bit too close. Get it perfect. There we go. And doing that means we'll spend less money and we'll optimise coverage of the water. Because when people build their houses, they pick up from this water connection locally. Now, one of the other things we're going to need is we're going to need some power, but we don't have much money at the minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to build one of these, and we're going to build it way out in the corner, right over here, because it produces pollution, and that red circle, is pollution. So click that, and that's our power source. And as you can see, it's linked up with that blue line to that object now. Now what we've got to do is send that power all the way down to our city. So we'll do that here. Try to send it across to the middle. We're going to go down the middle, which is not currently being used. We'll get rid of that later because that looks ugly. Okay, so all we can do at the minute is provide power and water, and we've done that already. Now, if you're wondering what this one is, this is a water tower, and this is for when you've got a city that doesn't have a water source, and this can become expensive. But it might well be that, as it says here, so it provides a water source for areas that do not allow water pumping stations to be built. If a water tower is built on polluted soil, the water will get contaminated. So again, you've got to watch out where you put your water towers, because if you're putting it on land that's near coal plant, for example, then you can pollute the water. So let's play, and we'll skip it fast forward and see what happens. So as you can see, as things are going on, the demand for residential is dropping because people are moving in. Residents are looking for, what would you need if you lived in this new city?
Shops.
Need to buy some food, don't we?
Yeah.
Gardening equipment and food and all sorts of different bits. So the demand now, look, is going way up. And all we have to do to be good at this game is just follow these charts. It's really simple. So what we're going to do is, as Johnny said, we're going to put that in there. Bosh. And there you go. Because the demand is high, people are immediately filling up those spaces. Now what we're going to see is we're going to see a drop now of commercial, and look, industry now is going up. Now way out here, where we're not worried about pollution because our citizens don't live here, we're just going to put a big chunk of industry. Boom. Now to start with, we don't need much industry. What's going to happen is this is all a big balancing game. Oh, what's the problem? Ah, I know what the problem is. We're not getting any power down here. So what we can do just temporarily, and it's going to cost us £6,000. Maybe it'll be cheaper to just run a wire. So what we'll do is we'll run a wire over, up, there. That's connected. Now it's flashing blue now, so you can see that we're getting power down to here. Now the solution, the sewage problem is gone now. These guys are complaining they're not getting any water. So let's pause it quick to see what's going on. Open the water pipes, and they're just on the outside of the edge of this water. So what we're going to do is we're going to come off here where we know that it touches the next line. Just going to bring that out. Well, why is that? That's funny, isn't it? Maybe that first line there we did isn't quite at a 90-degree angle, but we know that one is, so that's out now, done. Now if you unpause this, you should find, there we go, we've got water and they're all happy. Right, now advisor help, build roads and zone next to them to allow citizens to move in. So it's thinking that we don't know what we're doing. So let's put it on level 1, so it's nice and slow. And it's telling us to make more buildings. It's also advising that we can now make zone buildings historical to preserve its visual appearance. So if we wanted to, at this point, we could scroll in and we could find a home. And you could say, see you're never going to change, you're always going to look just like that. So, do you want to make any of these buildings historical, Johnny?
What about the one right in the corner?
Which one? This one? Or this one? Or
shop
this one?
corner.
In the shop corner?
Yep, down.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
We're going to make that a historical building?
This one. This one.
This one?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Let's take a look at this building. Right, this is going to be a historical building. Okay, how is the building doing? The info window shows you what's going on with the selected building. There we go. So yeah, so when we click on a building, we can see all sorts of information. How many people live there? 6 adults, 2 kids. All these people are educated because we don't have a school. And I'm surprised they didn't get education elsewhere before they moved in, but there you go. So they're all living here now. And it's called the Sunnyside Residence. So what should we call it? As it's your historical building, Krakens, what should we call it?
What's the name of the Mojave?
Mojave.
Mojave.
How about should we call it Mojang's Hangout?
Mojave HQ.
This is where Notch lived when he came up with the idea for Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah? Mojang's Hangout, alright? That's where he was. Done. Oh, did it rename? Mojang's Hangout, there we go. You gonna stay there? Enter, there we go. Done. That's Mojang's Hangout now. Cool. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so what's the problem over here? So we've got problems. No problems with any, oh, there we go. No problems with any networks. And networks are things that can be strung together. So things like the pipes, things like the wires for the electric, and things like the roads are all networks. Buildings. Okay, so the garments factory, they're saying that they haven't got any staff. Well, there's a problem. What's the problem, garments factory? Box factory this is. There's jobs available. Not enough people. Not enough people. Not enough people. So what we need to do then, we need to bring more people in. So how we're going to do that is we're going to build off of this central grid, and we're going to come this way into this farmland a little bit. We're going to build out a bit more. So let's do that now. So we're going to come out. Now what I noticed about these is that these give you exactly 8 squares inside. 8. If you did another square to the next node, it would be 8 by 8. There's 64 squares in there, which makes quite nice shaped houses. But you can, if you want to, change the shapes of the houses. Why are we building like in dirt roads? Let's build in normal roads. You can, if you want to, you can change the shape, and you can have them a little bit smaller, bigger, whatever you like. So this one we're going to make it bigger, just for the sake of it. There we go. Right, and what we're going to do is we're going to continue this residential and commercial idea that you had. And we're going to run that all the way along with this game just to see what happens. But we're going to just fill in these areas. One thing I like to do is, this is D-zone, is I like to D-zone things, and this is how to select tools. Look, so you can select strips like this. I'm just going to D-zone areas around the road. So if I need to add new roads, I'm not demolishing anyone's building and they're not getting happy. And that is how we get going. So build roads next to zones to allow citizens to move in. We know we're doing that. That's what we're up to. We know. Right, now, as you can see, we still want lots more residents to live here. That's the name of the game, I guess. So the balancing act really is how much commercial and how much industry you've got to do. Each time you get this balance right, then the residents will go up. So we're always looking at new ways to build and add new residents to city skylines. And that's the challenge, is to make it interesting and to make it fun, and to get the balance exactly right. So we're going to continue with this grid, but what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to make the grid slightly different on this one. We're going to make it too wide. So it's 2 blocks, as they say in the US, 2 blocks. In the middle, we're going to have, like in the UK, what we call a banjo, and it's just basically a road that runs down the middle. So there's still a lot of residential options, but only one way to access them. And then we're going to do the whole lot like that. Boom. But what we've got here is 2 lines that run along. And what we're going to do with these 2 lines is we're going to give people the option to walk on foot. We've got to do it later, because we haven't unlocked that option yet. So there we go. Now what I like to do sometimes is repeat that on the other side. Do you want to do that? Or should we have something different on this side?
Let's repeat it.
Yeah, mirror it across the other side. Okay, so first thing we do, just because it's bugging me, is we're going to actually just upgrade these roads like this. Right, and then on the other side, we've got to upset some people because they've already built their house. Oh, they haven't. Look. Oh, perfect. Oh, they're just starting to. Oh, we've upset them. Oh, well. It is what it is. They're upset now. We're going to destroy 2 houses here to do this. Shall we, or should we leave it?
We could leave it as one little normal building.
We'll leave it for the minute, because it can be a copy of this. And it's not exactly the same as over here, but it can be slightly different.
We can remove the middle road on the other side.
We could do. That would make 2 skinny houses. 2 very skinny houses. I'll tell you what, let's leave that for now. What we're going to do is we're going to worry about this, because there's people worried about water. So we'll hit the water, and look, lo and behold, we haven't done enough water out to the edges of our hamlet, is it called at the minute? Not even a village. There we go. So we extended the water out. People should stop complaining about water. We don't have to worry about electric at this stage, because all of our places are so close together, all of our houses are so close together that they're not too worried about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to now give them some more shops, because they do like the shops. But we'll do it down here this time. Just give them enough. See if... Because if we can leave this blank, and we might be able to put a big park in it or something like that later.
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to give these guys the option to build there. And we're going to give these guys the option to build up to there, so we can build the road out and the road along if we want to. And we're also going to leave this one like this. We'll build out to there, because I don't really like the idea of building too far into here, because we don't know what's going to go on here yet. We don't know whether this is going to be an extension of the motorway that goes through, in which case we might want to use this space to start building a bridge that goes over all of this. We'll see what happens. But for now, people are coming in. Let's fast forward it. People are coming in, and they're going up, and they're going to work. There we go. And we've built already a little hamlet. And how easy was that? That took 30 minutes. We're at 204. We're at 440 people. We've now unlocked taxes and loans and garbage trucks and healthcare and education. But what happens is with this is now people are going to start complaining that there's rubbish piling up, that the people aren't educated, and that there's no medical clinics, and people are going to start getting sick. So we need to make sure that we're bringing money in and that we are building resources accordingly. And this is what your local council or local government buildings do. They just worry about this expansion and worry about keeping everybody happy and keeping all of the services that we take for granted active and working. And here we go. So these tabs aren't working because we've not unlocked these yet. And we're halfway to the next one, which would give us an expansion of the map. It would give us districts and policies so that we can do all sorts of new things in our town. Specialised districts. We can do policies for within specialised districts. So we could say, well, we'll carve up half the city, and half the city is no cause, or half the city is allowed to have free fire alarms, which is another option you can have. We've got to worry about fire, we've got to worry about police departments, and then we get unlock unique buildings, which is fun. So things like skyscrapers and special buildings that have been built in over the time in all sorts of different famous towns and cities from across the world are all in here, in unique buildings, and some imaginary ones too. Forestry specialisations and agriculture specialisations mean that we can now unlock clean industry, which forestry and agriculture is not entirely clean, but it's a lot cleaner than what you would consider industrial buildings to be like. Farmland specifically is probably a little bit more clean than anything else. Power usage, water usage, and smoke detector distribution, all policies that we can introduce when we've got the Worthy Village. Also, we're going to be unlocking the firehouse and the police station, and I've never seen a firehouse like that before. I think maybe it's because we're on this map that we get different buildings. So that's good. So we've unlocked our first milestone, and we're still steadily building. But look, no one's filling up the green spots. Why's that? Why is nobody buying our green stuff?
Population.
What we're going to do now is turn on the music.
I've got an idea. What if in that very middle bit we put police stations and stuff?
In this middle bit here?
Yep.
We could do. We could well do that. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're actually going to... Next time we're going to bring your headset down, and we're going to both have headsets on. You can hear the game, because at the minute, even though you guys that are watching can hear the game, we actually can't. So I'll tell you what the problem is, Johnny.
They can't build those hills.
No, it's not that. It's more simple than that. Take a look down here at the graph. People aren't growing into this because everybody's got a job, and everybody's working and everyone's quite happy where they are, and there's not really any room for growth. And what the demand is of the population, demand is for industry. So I'm not sure whether anything has been said about that. Not really anything has been said. Oh, he loves the smell of burning fossil fuel in the morning. Oh, great. Dino power. Well, we know that dino power is not going to last forever, so we should maybe look at alternative solutions at some point. And we will do.
Going up.
We will do that. Okay, so look what's happening. Look, people are complaining about rubbish. I told you, new problems. Right, so if we don't keep on top of earning money, and we're actually quite lucky at the moment, we're earning some money. If we don't keep on top of earning money, we'll actually end up losing money, and that's how you start losing in this game. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce some more industry, because that's what people want. and that should be about enough. You don't need to do too much at a time. We'll add a bit, and if they want some more, we can add a bit more. But what we're also going to do is we're going to have a look at some garbage solutions. So here is a landfill site, and environmentally it's not the very best thing, and it can create pollution. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that far enough away not to cause any issues with the
We could
the
place
citizens.
it where the water dump is.
Oh, we could, but that would mean we have to spend a lot of money on a road going from there to there.
Make it as close as possible.
Well, then what we do, because all of this is all polluted anyway up here. So what we do is we'll stick it right up here, well, right next to that, and that is immediately going to send people are going to now be. All the trucks are going to come out now. Let's see, fast forward. There they go. There's the trucks. One went that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Now let's follow him down. Follow him. How'd you make him follow? Ah, I can't click it quick enough. It's too fast. There he is. Look, he's still on his rounds, picking up rubbish. And now, if you look, all of a sudden, more people are moving in.
But
So-
more shops are needed.
More shops are needed, so the balance is adjusted. So now we need a little bit more of industry. So we put a strip down, and there's that many left. So let's see what happens when we put about the same. Right, we'll put about the same. We'll keep. I'll tell you what we do. We'll come off of these roads because we're sorry about destroying your place by my happy citizens there, but we're going to have to because. What we don't want to do is keep building closer and closer to the city. So let's go to fill, and we want all that square there to be industry. So that should be enough. And then we're going to select some commercial because they want shops again. So we'll fill that bit out for shops. And then we're going to extend down what we was doing here. And we're going to build.
You've placed it wrong.
Have I?
It's not lined up with the other side.
I think it is. No. I think it is. It's all right. And then we're going to go to there, just like we did on the other side. Because you wanted it symmetrical, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. It's kind of symmetrical. We've got a line there, and we haven't there. So if we repeated this pattern across again, we could always swap that, couldn't we? Invert it over there, and then it would be symmetrical.
Mm-hmm.
We've still got this big open bit in the middle here for whatever we want to do in the future. And we've got a working formula here. This works. So if you keep repeating this over and over again, this is how you win this game. It's quite easy, but it's also fun. Just to watch the people move in. And to see your city growing over time. So we've got about 15 more minutes left. We're going to start rounding up this episode. And it looks like we're getting flashed and we're getting a reminder to work on services, so that's quite good. So let's do that then. So we've got services. What people are moaning about, what we haven't got, should I say, is that there's sick citizens and there's no healthcare. There's no death care, so crematoriums to carry off people that are sick. We can't take childcare and elder care yet because we haven't unlocked that, but we have got healthcare, so we can do something about that. So, alright, we know. Right, so medical clinic, here we go. So let's put a medical clinic right in the middle. And it's a shame that's not going to give us the same amount of gaps either side, but that'll be alright. We'll do that, and then we'll just click there. And everybody in our town will be happy. Now what happens is with these is that there's an imaginary circle around these. And if you put the healthcare system there, that works. There's no circle, I can't show you, but there's an imaginary circle and it covers this area. So we could build all the way out here and this healthcare system would still be providing healthcare solutions for all of those people. Now the same thing we need for a school. We need to educate the people that are at our school. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a road. Coming up here, I don't like it when it does that, when it buries things into the ground like this. This is what we have to live with. We're going to bury it, we're going to come over here. Zoom in. There we go. people are still giving us money, and they're still happy, but they're water, the dreaded water issue. Yeah, just enough. It costs money each time. What we're going to do? Oh, that's not square, is it? Do that again. Get your money back. That's too much. We'll make sure we've got enough room. Yes, it was. Station and everything there, so we think we've got enough coverage there to cover all this. And these two roads here are kind of turning into our main roads, aren't they? When you think about like the main roads that go through the town that we live in, there's a big main road just like that that goes through with all of the fire station, police station, the courts and all the other bits and bobs on there. And you can't really do anything on that road. You can just drive past it and you can see all that stuff. And one of the things that we can do early on in the game while we're here at this stage, and we can use it just to do this, grow the city, look, see? So here we're going to, in these bars indicate the demand, which is what we spoke about before. That's the reminding us now to grow the city. So we need to now concentrate on, really, we know what we have to do, we just need to do it. So we need to build out this, and we need to have lots of residential, and as we have residential, we need to have the shops, we need to have the schools, we need to have the other services and bits and bobs until we get to a point where we're outrunning everything, and we need to build more. So we need to build more power, more sewage, more water collection, more schools, bigger, you know, and that's the nature of this game. And as it grows, you grow, your knowledge grows with it. And one of the things that we need to make sure that we do straight away, get it right, is we need to work on the taxes. Because everybody pays taxes. In our country it's called council tax. In your country it might be called something different. But what other people that have played this game that have found, and I've found it as well over time, is that about 12 is actually a number that everybody's quite happy with, and everybody will pay without complaining that the taxes are too high. So unless you change the game, guys, unless you developers that make this game, unless you make it a little bit more complex, that's all you have to do with that. Just put it to 12. Quick sip of drink, and on we go. So now what we need to do, really, is just carry on building. So, I'm going to let you do that. If you do that for the next 10 minutes or so, and I'll just steer you along, yeah? Mm-hmm. And you can just talk me through what you're doing and why you're doing it, yeah? Mm-hmm. Alright, and then we'll see how we get on. So that's where we're at the minute. This is on a typical city. It always looks the same. We're earning lots of money, but we're earning enough money. People are coming through. All we have to do is we have to follow those bars down the bottom there. Just make sure that we're not spending too much money. So try not to make any mistakes. Have a think about what you're going to lay, where you're going to lay it, why you're going to lay it there. And that's it. That's all you've got to do. Right, so I'll let you crack on for 5 or 10 minutes. And then we're swapping chairs now. There we go. You take the hot seat. Okay, and when you're ready, you can start adding roads and building as you see fit.
How do you turn the camera down?
So the camera controls are over here. So we're working on PC. You might be working on a console that's got a controller. WASD, which is your standard forward, back, left, and right. Mm-hmm. Q and E is rotate, and R and F is change the pitch or the height. And you can use the mouse as well to zoom in and out. You can use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out.
I think if we add the same object we've done here and here, we have in the shops.
Okay, so building one corner. and you can build something in there later. It doesn't really matter too much because every city's going to be slightly different. You can build something in there later, or you can adjust it now, but it's up to you. Doesn't really matter. Maybe they were going to do something similar, I'm guessing, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, there you go. There you go. Now that looks better, doesn't it? For some reason that looks slightly different than the other side, but
It's the exact same.
now there seems to be a couple of rows missing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. Now this shouldn't happen because, oh, I see what's happened. There's a gap of 2 here, and there's a gap of 3 on this side, and it's the road placement. If you look, this is just one along. Only one square has made a difference. So I'm wondering if we get rid of this, and if we add this square in the same place, where this was. I'm off track. It's hard to. It's not actually on. It's called the node. And it's done so well. Right, it's done so well. But the symbol with this is slightly different. I'm not sure why. I think it's actually an announcement. You can't adjust it as it is. So you just have to look at it. So if you want to pause that, and then you see how many people fly into the new spots. Look at that, how fun. Rivers rolling in the background. People are rolling out to industry. Oh, boom, there we go. And we've hit a worthy village. So just to scroll through those quickly, slowly, Johnny. From the top, we have got new areas. So we can unlock 2 kilometres by 2 kilometres. We've got new features, districts, and we'll go through districts in the next episode. Policies, we can have a second lane where we didn't even need a first one. District specialisations and services policies. We've got new services like fire department, police department, unique buildings, new industry specialisations, agriculture specialisations, and all that is that's when we plant yellow, when we put yellow zoning down, you can now create an area of yellow zoning that's only allowed to be used for forestry, only allowed to be used for agriculture, farming. New policies, so we can again we can zone off green areas, and we can say there you go, hover over it, let's have a look. So live safer, make the fire department's job easier, install smoke detectors inside, and then there's significantly reduced risk of fire, which is a great policy to have all across your city anyway, because then you take the pressure off the fire department. Water usage, let's have a look at that. Again, that's the same thing, I'm assuming, but it's cut those shower times in half. There we go. But we want to make people unhappy if they can't have as long of a shower as they want. It all is a balancing act. What's the power usage? Moderately reduce electricity consumption by conserving energy with energy meters in buildings, which is good. I mean, every little bit helps. It costs you more money to add these policies, but in the long run, you might save money. So let's have a look at these new buildings. We've got a lovely new firehouse, which I've never seen before. It looks a lot like an English firehouse, doesn't it? And we've got one like that, just close to us. Do you remember what that tower's for? Do you want me to tell you what that tower's for? That tower there is for when the firemen want to practice running up and down the stairs in a smoke-filled tower.
So they run upstairs in their...
They run up the stairs in their own firehouse and they fill it with smoke and they practice putting fires out. So they've got all their gear on and they carry a big pipe up the tower. And the police station's there, so we've got police cars dispatched from the police station to patrol the city. That's good. So now we're going to have to worry about crime and potential fires as well. So have we got tabs? Have we got unique buildings? We have! Oh, look at that. We've got a lovely winter market. Traditional winter market finally here, and that's going to be awesome. I love winter
We're not at
markets.
5,000 people.
Reach a population of 5,000 and it's got a tick next to it. So maybe that's something that we can do when we've reached a population of 5,000. Who knows? I'm not sure why it's ticked. I don't know why, but we've got it. We're happy to use it. So there we go. All right, well, let's close that and we'll move on. On the next episode, where we'll see some more zoning, some more industry. We'll do some policies. We'll fix any crime. We'll have a look into pollution. And now we've unlocked some on the left hand side there. You can see on the left hand side, if you look at this menu over here, look at this menu, click this button, natural resources and all sorts of other fantastic things. And there you go. Was we right? We're building right in the middle of farmland, so we are kind of right. And there is no oil, it was forestry. So over there where there's industry, we've got forestry, which we can start building into. And then within our dotted line and our square, you can see up in the top left corner there's nothing. Down in the bottom left corner there's forestry and farmland. Fertile land it's known as on the legend there. But fertile land just means good for farmland. So yeah, so we've got a few industry options for next time as well.
No oil at all, except far away.
Loads of oil up there in the north. So if we get to it, eventually we'll unlock that. But for now, that's us. We've been Game Vegan and Kraken, John and Johnny, the dad and son team, building city skylines together, going through it step by step with you as you watch. So thanks very much for tuning in. If you got to, we'll try to iron out the hiccups that we've got with things like our introduction, and maybe we'll come up with some new, maybe we'll get a logo or something that we can figure out. And we'll launch a slightly different way of presenting this series as we go through it. And hopefully we don't get interrupted by everyone in the house. That'd be good. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Alright, well, that was me. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and we hope you learned something fun. And we hope that you pick up City Skylines, because it's a great game and it is a lot of fun. It's very relaxing. And when we've got the music working, that's something that we're going to need to work on. When we've got the music working, we will when we've got the music working, that will be fun. So here we go, we're going to save this in now. Alright, here we go. For the minute, I'm going to call this Krakensville. So that's what we're going to use, and we're going to save it to our Steam cloud as well. It's the city of Mojave. There we go. Well, thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll tune in and watch us. Hey, thanks Reflex for coming along. We really appreciate you watching. I will be back on in a little while if you're watching the live stream and you want to watch some Apex Legends. And then maybe later on we'll do some City Skylines again. But for now, we're going to sign off, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.